I'm Imane, and I welcome you to my podcast, Coffee with Me, Leaders of Change. Today, I'm delighted to have with me Jason Graefe, Corporate Vice President for ISV and Digital Natives at Microsoft. Prior to this role, Jason was the Vice President, Strategic Advisor and Chief of Staff to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. I'm a huge fan, yeah? And you know why? Because I joined Ahmed as his Chief of Staff 18 months ago, and I went to look for my North Star, my role model. So many people told me, go and talk to Jason.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'd been at Microsoft for a number of years at that point. And then I went and decided to kind of get into a different side of the hardware business and learn how we took care of customers from a break-fix side. And as soon as I got into that role, I got this interesting call from Kathleen Hogan, our head of HR. And I had a one-on-one scheduled with her, and I went and sat down with her, and I'd known Kathleen for years. And she said, well, is this a one-on-one or is this about the job for Satya? And I said, I don't think I know what you mean by the job for Satya. She said, you should talk to Satya, sit down and spend some time with him. And so I did. And that was, that was kind of the beginning of everything right there. We had a great conversation. The whole discussion was just him asking really thoughtful, interesting questions about the company, about our competitors, about just the world in a lot of regards. And it was pretty fantastic, experience to just get to know him in that way.
I met with Satya in November, just 3 months after I joined Ahmed as his Chief of Staff. And, the learning are incredible. The humility, the gratitude, the whole aura is just amazing. And like what you mentioned, great questions.
I thought I had the coolest job in the company. Now I think I have the coolest job in the company.
You always have a coolest job in the company.
I think so, yeah. It's been pretty great.
And it's inspiring to me as well to see that you are inspired by the mission, you are inspired by the technology, and I'm really seeing the technology. We are, probably we call ourselves digital immigrants, and then there is the digital natives, and now our kids are AI natives.
I know, isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And we were really pleasantly surprised when we asked you to come to Singapore within just the very first day of the announcement.
Yeah. The first mail I got.
The first email that you got from my boss. And, he pinged me and he said, maybe Jason would come. And I was like, he's just got the job, boss. We may not know. And you made it happen.
Yeah. For sure.
That's the commitment.
The best thing you can do, I believe, in the first few days, months, whatever it is on a job, however you want to calibrate it. But for me, the best thing I could do would be to get out to the people who are dealing with our customers the most, right? Yeah. And so everything I can do to learn from the people who are, one, from our customers, from the ISVs and from the digital natives, or the people building software products, and then the people talking to them every day. And so any chance you can accelerate that learning, even if you got to fly a long way to do it, it's worth it. You have such a unique market here.
Oh, yeah.
Southeast Asia and this whole region is very unique. And I think that's, if we can, address some of the needs here, I think they can go a long way.
And that's why I've been in Asia for the longest time. Between Japan and Singapore, it's just so diverse and lots of learning. And it's so vibrant as well.
The energy here, the energy around the other Southeast Asian countries it is infectious.
Yes.
It is wonderful. It just gets you so caught up in it and you just feel it. And the energy for innovation, and it is just, you see so many people, so many young people just coming up with amazing ideas.
I know it's just probably too hard to summarize your inspiring leadership, but what would that be if you would summarize your leadership style in few words?
I always think it's better to have someone else describe your leadership style, because
that's fair.
There is what we think we project, and there is what people receive and their perception of you. And so I would say what I hope to project that people would see is, one, someone who is curious. I try to ask a lot of questions. I just have a lot of questions on so many things. I love to explore. Even while I'm here in Singapore, I love to just walk the streets and just see things and absorb things. And so I'm incredibly curious.
And you went to a hawker center by yourself?
I did. I went to the hawker center by myself. It was fantastic. And that's a whole nother podcast. The experience I had there was really tremendous.
Few advice to our audience?
I think the leadership advice I often give people is One is pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on around. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day and lose the sense of what's really happening around you. Listen, be curious, try to absorb it, what's happening. Don't be fooled that the job you're in is the most important job. I think oftentimes people are thinking about why they're doing a job to get to the next job, and they're worried about the next job. And I would tell people, be patient. Yes. and learn what you need to learn in that job, because it will help you in the next one.
I was told your North Star is Jason. So now I know why.
I had an amazing role model that I had the privilege to work with, who the Satya you see is the Satya I saw. And that taught me a lot.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be in Singapore, and thank you for having me.